President Donald Trump is calling for high-level talks between Ukraine and Russia, claiming that the two countries are, quote, very close to a peace deal. This comes as the White House sent a special envoy to Moscow to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Fox's Greg Palcott has the latest.
How are you, Mr. President?
Fine, just fine, thank you.
Time could be running out to get a ceasefire deal in Ukraine, but the U.S. is trying another round of diplomacy. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff meeting with Vladimir Putin on Friday, just hours after Russia answered President Trump's stop message with another deadly overnight attack. Despite the uptick in violence, Trump says he's still committed to the peace process.
We're going to try and get out of war so that we can save 5,000 people a week. And that's what my aim is. I want to save 5,000 young men.
The main sticking point for negotiators, giving up Ukrainian territory. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says it's a non-starter, and he's pushing back strongly on Trump's plan to recognize Crimea as part of Russia. But some officials say it's not a concession, just an acknowledgement of political reality.
There is a difference, generally speaking, between legally saying it as part of another country or just acknowledging the fact that somebody has occupied that territory.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainians appear to be fighting back. On Friday, a senior Russian general was killed by a car bomb, the second attack on a top Russian officer in the past 4 months. The U.S. is now calling on both sides to back down and restart negotiations.
We'll see if the Russians are ready to make a deal. We'll see if the Ukrainians are ready to make a deal. But the president has certainly done everything he can to bring this to a resolution.
Presidents Trump and Zelensky will be in Rome tomorrow for the funeral of Pope Francis, though it's unclear if they'll meet. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Protesters in San Francisco are speaking out against Israel's actions in the war in Gaza. Sky Fox flew above the federal building over on 7th Street this afternoon. You can see around 4:30 there were a couple dozen people, many performing what appears to be a peaceful sit-in near the building entrance. Several protesters waving the Palestinian flag. This is one of several demonstrations taking place today across the world condemning Israel's handling of the war. Former Congressman George Santos has been sentenced to 87 months in prison. That's a little more than 7 years. A federal judge on Long Island, New York, handed down that sentence today in connection with Santos's federal fraud and identity theft case. Santos served in Congress for barely a year before being ousted in 2023 by his House colleagues. He pleaded guilty last summer to federal wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Today, the man accused of killing the CEO of UnitedHealthcare has pleaded not guilty to a federal murder charge. Luigi Mangione is accused of shooting and killing Brian Thompson in New York last December. The Justice Department says it intends to seek the death penalty in the federal case against him. Mangione's next hearing is on December 5th, when a trial date will be determined. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to state murder and terrorism charges in New York. Coming up on KTVU News at 6:30, FBI agents arrest a Milwaukee judge today. The charges she faces and reaction to the escalation between the White House and the judiciary. In foreign funding investigation, the federal government launching a probe into UC Berkeley, the university's response tonight.